Hi guys.
Hi.
Senzi.
Lele.
Meaningful Conversations. Happy 2022. We're already in the second month of it. Hope it's treating you well. So yes, we are together today, guys. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, we decided, since I know that we've been shooting like Obana King.
1-1.
1-1. Individually, we've been shooting these vlogs individually. Ne? But now God is so good that we were able to get to shoot this vlog together today, which is awesome.
Right. Senzi likes over-explaining sometimes. Let me just cut it down. It's a talent, so I'm not complaining. So we've shot a long video, but we're going to cut it into segments for you, right?
Yeah.
And then please watch it. That's why we have the same clothes. So it's going to be one video. It's one video. We're going to cut it into segments.
Yeah.
We would advise that you watch it accordingly as we'll post it. Then it will make sense, right?
Yeah.
And the subject matter is abuse. And then we have another video that's going to come after that based on hashtag men are trash or men are dogs. So please watch.
Please watch.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Today you can take that song from that artist and that one from that artist and that one from that artist and that one from that artist without having to go through, the whole
It's
album. Unless you are,
everything is
you
instant.
love that. So everything is instant, everything is easily accessible. But commitment level.
Yeah. But now, just because something is instant, does it necessarily feel like it's good or is it beneficial?
But you just said, my friend, that we get used to certain things. Like, for instance, sometimes it is difficult to hope for better because you are leaving yourself open to the possibility of being hurt. So if I hope less, if I take my hope and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to expect much. I'm going to expect that just this much. Therefore, I'm not going to be disappointed. So people have a choice of...
deep,
so you end up having a choice between my hope is there, but I might get disappointed and hurt.
So I'm taking it low.
Or I'm going to take it low and not get disappointed and get what I expect. And what does that do?
Sure.
Even when you come across somebody that is good, because I'm hoping for this much, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I know the cycle. You are good up until a few months, Baba. So I know when it comes to month 3, things are going to start being weird. So I'm gonna dump. Okay, we don't dump these days. I'm a ghost. Because dumping, at least there's some commitment in you. Not okay, I think we had something. So I'm gonna ghost you. So
and that is abuse.
But the thing is, abuse, you know what they say, when a woman is being abused, or a man, because we don't talk, because everybody
Because
gets
men
abused.
also do get ghosted,
They say that they would rather go back to what is familiar.
Oh.
Because by the time you are being abused externally, somebody has broken you, God. So you feel lesser of a human being. You don't value. You believe you believe the actions that you're receiving.
So in the process of abuse, the value and the worth of the intention of why something was created is supposed, because it does not get lowered, but it then becomes covered under all of the clutter. It's like that example, I think I read, I'm sure none of you've read it, where they say when you take money, you crush and it's filthy, and you find it dumped. No. Anybody else that's going to see it as a piece of paper will just probably kick it around and not see the value and the worth. And at that point, yes, in that state, doesn't look like something valuable. Until someone notices that, no man, this is money, right? And then you take it, you unthingy it, you unwrinkle it, and you clean it up, and you take that money, and it's still worth what it was intended, you know, to be worth, or what it was created, the value that paper, now that it's going to be used in its proper form, is going to still remain even after it was thrown around and crushed and kicked around. When it takes the one person to be able to identify and recognize that, no man, this is money. Do you know what I mean? And then when it is restored into its original purpose, the value and the worth has not changed. You know what I mean? So I guess at the end of the day, our society is still beautiful. Relationships are beautiful. Our environment is beautiful. It's about restoration. It's about restoring.
The men are still amazing. I need to put it out there.
You know, men are still an amazing creation. You know, when God created men, because he formed them, like he took his time and he formed them, and then women were created from men. You know, so women were already in existence with men when God created us. Right? So when God sat down and created and molded us, because we were together, right? He attached a certain value and worth to his creation. And there says, it's fearfully and wonderfully made. It has not changed. It still remains. It is within the
very good. He said it's very good.
He says it's very good. Everything else he said is good. It's good. He said, "Oh, this is very good."
And look at the things that he says is good. Look at nature. Look at nature.
It's good.
When the Most High says it's good, it's like, for us it's like,
and then for us it's like
excellent. It's like praiseworthy. It's like
it's like it takes your breath away. You know, you find yourself just seriously exposed to nature. Like seriously exposed, without any of our little king. Maybe I don't want to say influence. I want to say king contributions. You know, with our little contributions in and like that, we contributed. Look at the sky scraper. Yes, you understand. And then you go to God's skyscraper. You go stand in the mountain. You know, you go to in this beautiful country of ours, whether you go to the east or the west or the south or the north of this beautiful country of ours, go and be exposed in nature. Find yourself in nature. And then you can't question if the one who created this had an amazing intention for it.
And then he creates man and says,
it's very good. Like, take that, nature, you know? And God is like, that's good. But then he created us. And then he's like, that's very good. My goodness, man.
So good that go out and multiply and be fruitful.
And be fruitful. And become more of y'all. Do you know what I mean? So what has broken down is just that, you know? The restoration of the intended purpose behind what the Creator created.
The restoration. So that's why we need to talk about abuse, right?
That is why.
The whys of abuse, you know, and I liked what you said earlier on before we started treating that, you know, you want to handle this topic because at some point all of us have been abusive in one way or another, whether towards a tool that we're not supposed to use for this, like, you know, the pins, when we used to have that thing, I don't know, I said that has done
the attachment.
What do they call it? I haven't done it, and I've done it before. I'm not taking myself out of this.
It exposes.
You can't reach your scalp with your fingers, so now you have to use that pin. And I used to look at that pin, I'm like, doesn't this thing like really hurt us? Because you know,
and then it does not get there, and you're like,
you know.
ah.
Maybe that's even because of our scalp.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Ourselves through to look good.
Of course it is.
Now women, we are so abusive even to ourselves. The hairline
and
now.
our bodies are constantly telling us, shame girl, let me show you some. I am so not gonna have that. You know how much
that's why the hairline is received like no.
Like the constant taking away of the eyebrows. They start growing. They're like, oh, you gonna treat me like that? Let me show you. I'm gonna return the favor, boo. I'm gonna go, okay? You keep on abusing me, I'm gonna leave you. Go. Okay. Alright. Like the body's not having it. It's like just constantly eating junk food. The body's like, oh, is that so? I'm gonna stop some functions. I'm gonna start getting like very tired. You want to come and make me have an overload all the time?
That's too close to home. That's why
just
I'm not laughing.
you know, all the time. You know, you like I'm telling you, I'm thirsty. Give me water.
I'm getting convicted as I'm listening.
And then you just holding stuff in my system, Minji, that I don't function on. Let me show you something. I'm gonna chill.
My time now.
I'm gonna take a break. Oh, you're struggling. Oh, okay. Then what do? Get medication.
Just like society today.
That is exactly it.
We put ourselves in situations that are the consequences. Because, I was talking to my son about consequences.
Yeah.
You understand what a consequence is?
Yeah.
Consequences are not only bad, because society has made us think, when we say consequences is a bad word.
Yeah.
Consequence is what follows an action. So you do this action, and as a result of that action, this will happen. That's consequence. So it can either be good or it can either be bad. So if I'm existing in a relationship where I'm an abuser, right? I will get the consequences because the person that I'm abusing is not going to be able to love me, right? And if I'm allowing myself to be abused, I will also get the consequences, right? Of existing in an abusive relationship. But if I am loving on the person who is also loving on me, the consequences will be lovable. It will be good consequences. So now we existing in abusive,
there's a lot of abuse
things,
going
right?
around,
Whether a diet that is abusing my body, whether it's the friendships that are abusing my spirit, because sometimes we exist in friendships that don't do anything for us, empty.
Go back.
Not because the people are correcting you, but because they're just taking from you and have bad things to say. Sometimes we exist in families that are abusive, and not because they want to share, because we all have baggage, right?
Yeah.
But you have that thing where you have a choice of, okay, how am I going to respond? How am I going to react to that, right?
Yeah.
But those things, when you exist in them, then we end up medicating. So you could either medicate or pretend that it doesn't exist, or take measures that are going to bring back good, that will bring a good consequences.
I'm thinking about actually. Okay, so I'm gonna expose myself. So there's
being lit, right?
So there's so when you are in like the whole food production and hygiene principle environment, there are certain policies that you need to implement in order to be seen as a food safe environment, or a production facility that can produce or certain food. And you have perishables and you have food that kind of like can take the strain because they have been loaded with a whole lot of preservatives. But anyways, so now when you are in a food production facility that focuses on perishables are sensitive. Do you understand what I mean? Because they can only last a certain period. They've got a very short shelf life. So when you are producing such, there is a standard that they call HACCP. So these are like, it's specifications that are necessary in order for your product to be seen as safe. So most especially production facilities that are going to be producing perishables, they need to be HACCP accredited. So what HACCP does is that you go through the whole process of the producing of a product, right? So now you look at it because you want to retain the quality of this product so that it still retains the quality, so therefore the value, what you are delivering to the consumer, it is what you say is contained within the product, and it's also safe. It's not going to kill the consumer. Okay, so you are going to look at the whole production of this. Then you are going to look at points in which, you know, a deviation can occur, which means that it will hinder, either it will take away the quality of the product, and therefore it might cause the product to then be unsafe. So then what you do is then you go through it, and then you look at if there is a corrective measure after that step within the process, the production process. If there's a corrective measure, you look at how the corrective measure can be able to correct what can be a deviation before we get to that step of the process. All of this is going to be, you know, assessed and analyzed until you get to the end of the product and it now being packaged to be taken out to the consumer. What I'm trying to say with making that example is that, you know, there's always corrective measures. There's always corrective measures.
At every point.
At every point, you know. But it requires for one to actually sit and analyze and look at it. Like, it requires for you to put yourself in a state to say, okay, this is not where I want to be. This is not what I want for myself, because, you know, you have to be the change that you want to see around yourself. We are, yes, in a society and in environments that have fostered survival mode, unfortunately, for so long. If you ask people, like, people are, we've gotten to a place where we are okay being unhappy. Like, why would you be okay being unhappy? If it's something that at some point in life you have tasted. Children are happy. Children are very happy, you know, until there's a deviation that takes place. And then unfortunately, when the deviation takes place, sometimes the corrective measures are not put in place. And then it continues to the next step. And maybe there can be some corrective measure that can be taken place by the mere fact of the fact that, you know, as you grow, certain things will fall away and then you pick up certain things. Mari, all of us are in different levels in this process flow that is called life, in this journey that is called life. Do you know what I mean? And some of us, by the mere fact there was a point where you're like, let me take a step back. Wait, let me analyze this process flow. Am I going to get the product that I'm intending to get? And what is the product that you're intending to get? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to be happy when this process is done? Am I going to be happy though? So if you already are not feeling happy, what are the chances that you're going to produce happiness?
Sure, that is so deep. You know, I was listening to something that was saying, in line with what you're saying, Jorge, because we get lost in peer pressure. And peer pressure these days, unfortunately for us, is not just an actual human being or a group of people that you hang around. Peer pressure is Instagram. Peer pressure is Facebook. People that you don't know. You know, peer pressure is Twitter.
People that you'll never
very
even
dark,
meet.
you know. People that you never meet. Peer pressure is the news. You know, it's they influence how we think, and sometimes all of these things, they come at you before you even ask, I'm looking for. They actually tell you what.
This is what you're looking for.
Yeah, just before you can sit down and answer the question that you pose into yourself. Actually, I want this kind of life, and
this is what you want.
This is what you want.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what advertising is. Right?
Yeah.
So now advertising is on WhatsApp, and WhatsApp has WhatsApp statuses, and now we have WhatsApp business where I can tell you all about my business without you even asking me. You know, and somebody was saying, Horan, the life that you live, how much of it is really what you want? How much of it? You know, and we were talking with this. Lena, I hope, I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm just taking from what you said.
No, but you know, the thing is, I don't think anyone can be able to pick up what you're going to say, because that is the unfortunate thinking and mindset in our society. The environment is like that. And being in a space of thinking right, functioning right, is in itself now, it's weird.
It's coming back to this. So now we hike.
Yeah.
We hikers. Hi, I'm Lily, I'm a hiker. So now I hike. So
I can say that I have hiked twice this year, or 3 times.
So now, while we're hiking, we're having conversations. So we're talking to this he's a wonderful human being. Yeah, wonderful enough to be open. And he was just telling us about his journey as a married man. Yeah. Because we were asking, as single women, from like guys, what's a guy's perspective on singleness? And the standards that he was putting, I was like, I'd rather be single, but wait. I have to give it up. Then I have to wash your clothes. Then I have to, and I'm not married at that time. I was like, I know, it's fine. It's okay. So anyway, we were delving into the marriage part of it, and he was saying things such as, now and then he will have a side piece. I don't know what you call it, side dish, whatever. And he's married, and okay, so it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Then he was sharing some of his escapades and that, right? So now, when you were asking for Haibo, are you okay with this? It was like, what do you mean? It was a weird question, because now the standard is like, okay, I mean, it happens, so why it's like it's fashion. Why But what caught me was when I asked him, is this how you had envisioned married life to be? When you were growing up, did you imagine yourself to be that guy who now and then has side pieces? So this was all for this week. Please watch our next episode or vlog. Yeah. We'll be wearing the same clothes because it's one video cut into different segments. Yeah.